My fellow patriots, this is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and this is another episode of Political Chat, and I have the honorable and most special guest, Warhorse, joining me today.
How you doing,
Warhorse,
folks?
it is an absolute privilege of mine to have you on here. Oh, and we got an echo.
I just took out the echo. I just took it out. It out.
Well, that takes all the fun out of it.
I know. Well, but anyway,
no, since you turned it off, it's over. We'll lose the magic.
Darn.
Yeah. So take a minute and tell everybody who you are, what you are, and your shoe size, that kind of thing. The important information that they need to know about you.
Yes, sir. First of all, all my fellow patriots. Okay, hope you all are having a great evening. And that you're all safe and doing what you got to do. I am a Navy veteran, as you can see. There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm a Navy veteran.
Oop, there it is.
Oop, there it is. I was, just like it says, proud. Okay. And I spent 6 years in the Navy. I was associated 3 years with VF 142 and F-14 Tomcat fighter squadron aboard the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. I am currently an engineer at a local area hospital. I got 3 beautiful kids who I raised by myself. And with those kids came a bunch of other ones who are their friends. And if I ever have time, I'll talk to you about those. But that's who I am. And I'm just glad to be here. I am thrilled to be invited by yours truly. Right over there, Mr. Disabled Vet.
Where?
He's over there someplace.
Oh, me.
He's over there someplace. He's over there someplace. So, but I am thrilled and honored to be here. Oh, and one more thing. I'm really heavy into history and some other stuff. Not anything illegal. Okay, not anything illegal. But we like to have fun, and I'm just honored to be here. And I appreciate your invite, man. I really do.
Well, I am the honored one. I'm so glad to have you here. And going to that subject of history, I've got to make the connection that you and History Bee did an episode where you spoke of military history, and that was an incredible, outstanding episode. And if you folks haven't had a chance to check it out, you need to go look at History Bee, subscribe to her. And go look at the video where History Bee and Warhorse did a collaboration on history. You will love it. Your kids should sit around and listen to it. It's phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that because he's here. I'd say that anyway.
Hey, History Bee is an awesome educator. If you are not subscribed to her, you really ought to go over there and subscribe to her. She knows her business. And I'm not just saying that because we did a great live stream. She's an incredible host. It was easy for me. She made it smooth. I had a great time, and I'm glad that stream went as good as it did. But yeah, and there's a bunch of other patriots that you all need to subscribe to if you haven't already, and certainly subscribe to my man here, there he is. Certainly subscribe to my man Disabled Vet. He's got good information. You need to subscribe and do it today.
Yeah, right there. That was excellent. I want to take a quick minute and say hello to my guests. I have Rational Wrong Think, Pete the Patriot, DM, of course. My mods are phenomenal. She is the master mod. Ancient Drummer.
Oh, yeah.
Awake and Angry Burke. That's good to see you. Fred Knott's here. I gotta be ready to duck and move when I see Fred. So,
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it though. He usually leaves a mark though. But anyway, so the format of this show is we're going to go over some of the headlines that are in the news as we speak. It's kind of a cold case file. I've got the headlines pulled up, but I haven't taken any time to look into them. That's so that there can be just as much surprise on my end as there is on my guests. I got to divulge a little information though. I might have accidentally talked to you about one of the subjects earlier, but we'll act like we didn't and carry on from there.
Oh, sure.
So you ready to start this shindig?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm going to start it off with our least favorite subject in any news headline, and that is Ilham Omar. I'm waiting for the
here we go.
booze to quiet down so I can. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll read the headline. I'll give you one paragraph, and then I'll let you have it and see what you think of it. So that's how we'll do this.
Yeah.
The headline is Omar. U.S. losing moral high ground on immigration, demands United Nations intervene. Speaking at a community forum on immigration, Representative Ilham Omar insisted the United States is losing the moral high ground on the matter and demanded the United Nations intervene, calling on a corrupt outside organization to intervene in the operations of a sovereign nation and beacon of light to the world is a peak Democrat. Okay, you can have it. What do you think?
Okay, remember we went over this before? Strap yourself in. Here we go. Okay, so she doesn't know.
Here we go.
Here we go. She is pushing the same agenda as the globalist. We know this. Okay, the United Nations, we know, wants to push a global agenda. Look at what happened in Europe. Okay, when they wanted to take away the borders, there was a whole question of immigration, and that has been the hot topic in Europe because they wanted to erase the borders. Okay, let's be clear on something. The United Nations wants to erase borders under the guise of immigration. We want to be able to go where we want to. We want to be able to do what you want to. Here's the thing, okay? Let's call it like we see it. The country that does not control its borders is bound to be wiped off as far as culture, as far as its identity, and as far as its history. Okay? When you do
That's
not control,
goal.
and that is precisely their goal. Look at what happened in Poland. The evidence is there. This is not a conspiracy theory. Let's understand this. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is happened in Poland. This has happened in Germany, and it is currently happening now. The French are up to their armpits, okay, in immigrants. Salvini, Premier Salvini in Italy, finally had the guts to stand up to Brussels and say, no, it's not happening here. But see, Omar wants to do an end around.
Here's the thing, though. Salvini just got removed.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. Because, but make no mistake, the UN has been pushing this agenda for a very long time. Okay, they would love nothing more. They would love nothing more than to wipe out national borders, national identity, national history. It's under attack from everywhere. So for Omar, it is no surprise that Omar's trying to do an end around with the UN, calling on what was it? Humanity. We're losing the moral high ground. No, we're not losing the moral high ground. If you stand for what you believe in, and you stand strong, and you do not betray those principles that you were raised with, then no, you maintain the moral high ground. Okay? Now, what she's banking on is people being scared to death by being called, God knows, name it, racist, homophobic, name it. Okay?
It's just one of these, though.
Right. That's exactly it.
It's getting to that point, whatever.
That's exactly it. So, am I surprised? No. And she's going to be doing this in lockstep with all of her leftist buddies. That's going to happen. All her leftist colleagues are going to start echoing the same thing, that we're losing the moral high ground. No, we're not. If you stand up for what you believe in, and you stand up for your country, and you stand up for your for what passed before you, for the blood, sweat, and tears that was spilled, okay, to make this country or any country great, then you maintain the moral high ground, and that's what we have to hang on to.
Well, here's the other thing that I might add to that is that people are inherently tribal. We have our groups, and we have our traditions. We have basically the way of doing things gets entrenched in a community or a tribe, and when
Right.
you start bringing other tribes in, then you create a turmoil and you create a war footing. And this goes all the way back to the beginning of humanity, when the
Absolutely.
Neanderthals were first introduced to the Homo sapiens, the basic white folk. The Neanderthals had been doing it a certain way for a millennia, and then all of a sudden a new tribe comes in and tries to change things, and it became two warring factions, and that's one
Right.
of the earliest representations uh, of immigration gone awry.
See, that's just the whole thing. Now, look, we all, there isn't a person on this planet that doesn't identify with a certain group, be it religion, be it your culture, be it your nationality, be it where you come from. Nobody, or there hardly is anybody who, all right, let me roll that back. They identify with certain groups based on those things and a few things more. And it is up to us to understand other people. Okay, that's the beginning of understanding. You make an effort to learn about somebody. However, okay, when your culture starts being dictated to by others who do not share the same values you do, that's when we start having problems. It's one thing to understand somebody,
Absolutely.
it's another thing altogether to be dictated to by other tribes, which the left is social justice warriors. You know, the Antifa people. They're all tribal people. Period. We all are. We all are inherently
Right.
tribal. That's just a fact. But the
Well, the
thing
first
is,
tribe is your family.
exactly, exactamundo. So what I'm saying is that um, when outsiders, I don't want to say that. Let me roll that back. When other people who do not share those values you do start demanding, not negotiating, not trying to learn something, demanding that you change, okay, to suit them, that's when you have a problem. And as far as going back to the immigration thing, let's call this as we see
Right.
it. Let's call this as we see it. If I were to go to Japan or Taiwan or someplace else, who am I to demand that culture change for my benefit? No, it's up to me to learn about them because I chose to live in their culture. I chose to live in their culture. Okay? It's that simple. I
Yeah.
have to learn about them. I have to learn their ways. If not, I got two choices. Okay? Go away. Okay? Go away. Or just shut up and learn to just be by myself. All right?
Right.
Or the third choice is actually do the
Wave.
smart things and go, and go and learn.
Right. We want to do a quick hand wave to 12B Georgia. Chris Link, I see you joined us. Cheshire Cat and Liberty Smith. They're part of the group now. The gang's all here, kind of thing.
Excellent.
Um, I do. It's funny because I see that some people say they're offended that they're offended. So apparently there are some offended people. That means we're doing our job right.
There it
But
is.
right. But I find your analogy about going to Japan interesting because I actually did a whole video on that. And when I went first, I moved to Japan when I was younger. My father was stationed there, so we moved over there. And I made it my mission to learn everything I could about Japan. I learned to speak the language fluently, and learned about their foods, and I learned actually from a premier sushi chef how to do sushi. Um, I took it
I'm
all in,
impressed.
and yeah, I was too.
That's
I could actually
impressive.
learn that
That's
stuff.
impressive.
Um, the other thing was same thing when I went to Turkey. When I took my kids over there, and we stayed over there for a year. Would have been longer, but political stuff got in the way. But
Mm.
when we were going to Turkey, I told my kids, I said, you know, I didn't have to explain to them much because I raised them, so they knew how we were to begin with. But I told them, I said, we're going to their country. So at no time are we to expect them to do anything to cater to us. And so we will go there and we will learn their traditions, their language, and we will become part of them and make ourselves welcome and not outsiders.
Exactly. Exactly. Because and why is so my question to people is, why are you going to call, okay, you're going to come here, okay? Now understand this. I am the product of immigrants, okay? Even though we were citizens of the United States by virtue of a act of Congress, my parents still had to emigrate here, okay? They still had to
Right.
come here. They had to assimilate themselves to the culture. Now, understand something. That doesn't mean you have to lose your identity, okay? I speak
Right.
multiple languages. My kids were raised speaking Spanish, but also their primary language was English. They learned here in the States, but you can keep your heritage. That's what I'm getting at. You can keep your heritage,
Right.
but you have to be smart enough that if you're going to be functioning in a particular society, you have to make that effort to assimilate to that culture. It drives me crazy, okay, when I see when I now I can understand going to the DMV, but you go to a government building or something like that. But let me ask you something. Why is it that you can drive a car here, okay, and you can't speak the language? Last time I checked, now I may be crazy, but the last time I checked, street signs were not in Korean, or they were not in Farsi, they were not in Arabic,
Right.
okay? They were only in certain languages, English being the primary one. How are you supposed to function in this culture, okay, without basic knowledge like that? Yet the left will say, "Oh, that's racist." No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's having common sense to operate in a society that you chose to participate in. Whether it's illegal or
Right.
legal, that's a separate issue. That's a separate issue. You're here, learn, okay, and that's
Right.
as simple as that. But you know, what do I know?
Well, I'm not sure if I mentioned Ski Man's here. I think I did, but I'm getting a few names up anyway. Um, so anyway, yeah, I think that's a good place to leave that one and
Yeah,
sweep her under the rug.
absolutely.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's a rug big enough or willing to stay down long enough once you sweep her under it.
No, the
Uh,
bucket, the BS,
anyway,
the bovine scatology bucket ain't been made deep enough to handle that.
right. Mindful Mac D, welcome. That's a new name. Glad to see you here. Um, let's see. This is another one here, and this is an interesting one. It says a report: Harvard has more money than half of the world's countries. Recently published financial figures revealed that Harvard University has more money than half of the world's countries. Harvard's $38.3 billion endowment puts it ahead of 195 countries in terms of total wealth.
Is it any
All I
surprise?
can say is, what?
What? Yeah, but look at who their supporters are. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. Okay, they've invested wisely. They've been around for, I don't remember when they were established, but they were always an Ivy League elite school. Look at who they've cranked out. Okay, I am not at all surprised. I'm a little surprised about how much, but I'm not surprised about how wealthy they are because of their supporters, and their alumni associations and boosters and all the rest of that stuff. I'm not surprised. I mean, we're talking one of the elite schools in the world. Never mind in the United States. And so is it any surprise? Foreign
Well,
dignitaries.
does the question money laundering kind of enter the hemisphere anywhere?
Well, that's a whole different thing. Okay, that's a whole different thing. I didn't say how they got it besides their boosters and and no. I said they invested well. I didn't say how they
Ah,
invested it. They invested it well. Okay, they know. Hey, listen, for a school that cranks out the lawyers, and you don't think that a room full of Harvard educated lawyers couldn't figure out how to money launder and all the rest. I mean, really, so is it any surprise really that they have that much money?
it's kind of it's. I'm getting attacked by the sun here through one of my windows, but
Oh,
um,
there you go.
it's it's like I was saying. I've done a video about this as well about government mandated racketeering, where the government is forced in a lot of ways to give money to organizations, and those organizations in turn give that money as a thank you gift to their favorite representatives.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a money laundering or racketeering if, concept that is actually mandated by the government. And the insurance company is kind of another good example of that. We are forced by the government to pay for insurance for this, that, and the other thing. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have that insurance, you get fined or you lose privileges or whatever comes with that. But as a thank you gift from the insurance companies, they kick back money to their favorite politicians. And so there again, you get more money laundering.
That's I've been glancing at the chat. I like what 12B Georgia. I like what you said. Worked on construction projects at Harvard. They were not afraid to pay us OT. And then Cheshire Cat, I love what she said. She says I was taught how to launder money taking community college accounting. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So, um, but those are great responses. But really, how are we not surprised that Harvard trained lawyers can get away with this? They know the loops. They know the ins and outs. And if you know the ins and outs, like Cheshire Cat said, she said she learned at a community college. Well, how much more do they know how to get away with stuff? That's all I'm saying.
Right.
You
It's
know.
it's interesting. You got to follow the money trail, and usually it leads right back up to DC because they seem to be the masters at creating wealth for themselves and moving that money around at the top and making everything seem legit and inconspicuous. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I had to
Yeah.
be
I mean,
saved by
this.
my wife because I was about to not be able to see.
Oh, there you go. I was worried about you
Yep.
there for a second. but, but yeah, I mean, come on. This is my feelings on conspiracy theories. Okay, but let me tell you, it
Hmm.
doesn't take a genius to figure out. You have a fraternity or sorority, you make those connections. It's not what you know, but it's also who you know. Okay, so you combine who with what. Yeah. Am I surprised Harvard got that
Yep.
money? No, not at all.
No,
You know?
I'm not either. It did make for an interesting headline, though,
Oh,
and that was
absolutely.
Brett Bart that put that out. So,
Hmm.
um, let's go to the. Here's the one I might have accidentally talked to you about in our discussion before the show, but we won't admit that out loud. This is just between you and me.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, it's Lawrence O'Donnell admits to error in judgment in reporting unverified Trump Russia story. It says MSNBC host Lawrence O'Donnell said Wednesday he made an error in judgment in reporting Tuesday night that President Donald Trump's tax returns showed Russian oligarchs had co signed loans to his businesses. Your turn.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
Here.
Strap it up. Here we go. Here we go. Look, here's the thing about media, and I am want to just say this, okay, because everybody who's here is smart enough to understand this, okay? It doesn't matter what mainstream media says. They need to get it out there first. Doesn't have to be correct. In the old days, real journalism used to be you get a story, you verify it by three separate
Easy for you to
independent,
say.
exactly, three separate independent sources. That used to be the old days. Okay. Now, in this micromanaged, second by second Twitter, social platform, social media driven news, it's how you get it out there first. See, I'm surprised that he put it out there, but did it go out there in mainstream media? I dare say not. Okay. Other than what he said, at which I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that he
Actually,
admitted that.
yeah, it went all over. Twitter got a hold of it, and it went nuts. And apparently, there's some, Donald Trump Jr. is looking at potential legal action against him.
Sure.
They told him there needed to be a retraction because it was a flat out falsehood, and it's just about blasphemy and smear campaigns. And I think they've reached a point where they're tired of it, and I expect there will be legal retaliation on these fake news stories from now on because they have just reached the filling of their cup.
Look, let's be straight. Let's be honest, okay? Not that we haven't been already. All right. Nobody. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. I want people to go back and check this out for themselves. Nobody in the history of this country, or dare I say anywhere else, has been under attack as constantly every second of every day as our current president. Whether you like him, don't like him, hate his guts, love him, doesn't make a difference. The fact of the matter is the man has been under constant scrutiny for 2 years, 2.5 years. Okay. Yeah. Nobody could withstand that. All right. For any prolonged period of time. And I'm glad finally that even mainstream media has gotten to the point where it's like, you know what? Every time we try to kill this guy, he comes back and he keeps coming back stronger. Okay. And it's just, we end up looking stupid. All right. So I'm glad that he put out the retraction. Legal action should absolutely be pursued. Okay. And enough with all of these flat out lies. I mean, there are things flat out lies. Okay. They have accused him of everything. They have accused him of literally everything. Now, this latest story has blown up in their face. Okay. Because it's already been proven. Okay. It's already been proven. The Mueller report was a big nothing sandwich. Okay. Everything that he's been under constant scrutiny, constant attack. And now this latest one about, Russian billionaires underwriting him. Okay. Enough already. Okay. Enough already. Yeah, mainstream media is finally catching on.
For sure.
Absolutely. They're finally catching on.
I think I've got Ashley here in the chat, and I'm trying to think of the number of the executive order that Obama put forward that stated that propaganda would be legal and mandated by our media. Mr. Mikey's here too, but I think it was Ashley or Charity's Clarity that put up that that executive order. Is like 1421 or something like that. But it made propaganda legal and mandated it to be used by the media. And it seems to me that as President Trump is dealing with all this stuff, a retraction of that executive order, it seems like it would decapitate some of this absolute falsehoods and flat out lies that they put forward.
Absolutely.
Because it would clear them for legal action across the board.
Absolutely.
They couldn't say, oh, well, it was executive order, it allows it.
Well, the purpose of what is the purpose of propaganda? The purpose of propaganda is to convince you of a particular viewpoint. Okay, Hitler used it. Okay, Not just the communists. I mean, Western media has used it. Propaganda is to convince you at its core of a particular viewpoint. Okay.
Right.
Now you couple that with fake news and mainstream media nonsense. Okay. Now you've got a powder keg. Now you've got a powder keg. And that's why it is imperative for each person to verify stories as they can. Because if you want to know the truth, you have to go to a trusted source. And even a trusted source, you still ought to make the effort to verify that source. Okay? That way
Yep.
you understand what has to be, what's happening. So that way the wool doesn't get
Right.
pulled over your eyes and you don't buy this nonsense that comes out of these media outlets, be it social
Right.
media or whatever. You know?
Well, I've had a BS meter that's been kicked in full gear. I had my first business when I was 12 years old, and I basically worked since then full time in my life. So I've been exposed to the world of finance and the world of dealing with government and pulling licenses and stuff like that. So I've kind of been awake to a lot of stuff for an awful lot of years, but
Yeah.
I've always talked to the people in my circle, but I've never tried to go beyond that. And that's been sort of my goal with this channel, is just get some of what I've got and put it out there. Uh, People can take it or leave it. This is all I do, is study what's going on in the world. Um, you know, I live on a disability. I have a lot of limitations, but one thing I don't have is increasing my knowledge. So I
Absolutely.
spend an awful lot of time researching and looking into things. So when I talk about stuff on my channel or on other people's channels when I'm a guest or whatever, I'm not just blowing dust and smoke. I've got a backing that I can back it up. I can refine all the sources and everything. So that's what I
Correct.
try to do here.
That's right. See,
Keep it real. And hey, conservative patriots here. Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you.
yo, conservative, how you doing, man? But look, here's the thing. Now, this is the way I see it. You see these things? Okay, you see this? This is a
Your
distraction.
leash.
Yes, my leash. This
Right.
gimmick, yeah, exactly. That gimmick is a distraction. We're supposed to be now. Don't again. I don't want anybody in the chat. I don't want anybody anywhere taking my word for it. Okay, I want you to go look it up. We have access to more information now than at any point in our history. Period. And yet,
Absolutely.
what are we distracted by? Candy Crush and the latest fashions and whatever. Okay, you name it. This we're distracted. Okay, we're distracted by things that you really shouldn't be involved in. Okay, but because we have these bright shiny toys, we don't take the time to go look things up. We don't take the time to go check things. Yes, we have to raise kids. Yes, we have jobs. Yes, we have families. Yes, we have real things to deal with. I dealt with them. I raised kids. I raised kids on my own. Okay. But here's the thing, you have to take the time to educate yourself. I saw it in the chat. Whoever posted this, thank you very much. It's no no facts. I caught half of that. It was no fact. All right. As in know your facts. And
Right.
that's what we have to do. That's how you educate yourself. And that's how you can to start to use your head to start separating the nonsense from what's actually the truth. But that's just me,
Right.
you know?
No, I think that's just the common person. I don't like living my life on theory and scenarios without having some way of verifying. And one of the things that I do, that I might even recommend to other people, is when you're looking up information, obviously people start with Google search, but I would recommend that you find other search engines as well, and you look up the same story in 3 or 4 other search engines, and you'd be amazed at how much they vary. But also, by doing so, you can kind of scrape off the surface and find more of the meat of the story and get beyond the propaganda and the clickbait. It helps you get to the meat of a subject anyway.
Right. And the other important thing is be an independent thinker, even if it goes against
No,
the
absolutely.
grain. Even if it goes against the grain. I shared this on the DMB report about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It blows people's minds when I tell them that I grew up in New York, but that I do not go in lockstep with the Latino community. As much as I'm part of it, as much as I love them, I am not in lockstep with them. I am a gun-toting Second Amendment supporter who's a conservative, okay? And it just freaks people out, okay? Be an
Well, you
independent.
just offended half of the world out there.
You know what? Bring it, okay? So my thing is be an independent thinker. Know your facts. Know and don't let anybody try to pull the wool over your eyes. If you know your facts, then you're armed. Knowledge really is power. Okay, and
Right.
you need to have that in this day, especially in this day and age. You need to be functioning in this. Too many people are are just functional. That's it. They just go day to day. They can't be bothered with anything, and they'll just buy whatever comes
Functionally
their way.
illiterate.
Yeah, and they'll just buy whatever comes their way. No, sorry, you know.
Effie
Uh,
Loves America has joined us here. She says she's
hey, Effie.
just saying hi, prepping for the hurricane. Take a quick second
Mhm.
and just state that yes, we are thinking about everybody in Florida. And I'm
Yes.
in Florida. I will be getting this thing on Tuesday or Wednesday, it looks like. But
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
that are my Florida brothers and sisters, buckle down, get ready for this thing. Make sure you got your
Yeah.
preps. Take
Yeah.
care of your pets and take
Absolutely.
it seriously because this thing's going to be a monster when it gets to our shores. You can't do
Absolutely.
anything about your structures. You can fix them
Yeah.
when they're gone. I've lost 2 houses after hurricanes, but what can you do? As long as your family and your pets are safe, that nothing else matters. Period. So
Absolutely.
everything else can be replaced.
Things can be replaced. Now, I love my Florida brothers and sisters. I love you all. Okay. I love my folks down in the Caribbean. We need to be in prayer for everybody. Okay. Those who are going to get it and those who are experiencing it now. Okay. The power of prayer is for real. Is for real. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. We need to keep people in prayer. You need to reach out, keep in contact with folks. But yeah, physical things can be replaced. Houses, cars,
Right.
you as an individual cannot be replaced. So you need to take steps and be smart and do what you got to do. But that's my thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Um, Mr. Mikey put here. I want to read this to you and catch it before it jumps out of the screen. I wonder if it's too big to put into the screen. Here we go. It says Amendment 114 of the NDAA was approved by the House in May of 2012. Smith Mount Modernization Act, H.R. 5736, liberates authority of the U.S. government to broadcast American produced foreign propaganda in the United States.
wow.
It's fascinating the kind of stuff that they throw in there and then call law.
Sure. Sure. And that's another thing we need to educate yourself on. Listen, I have a local school board, okay, here, that's about to do, that's about to try to introduce policies that run contrary to traditional thinking. I'm not going to get into it. Okay. I'm not going to get into it. It's beyond the scope of the show. But here's the thing, whether it's at the local, state, or especially the federal level, things that affect you and your family. You need to educate yourself about what's going on in your community. Okay, I got this alert
Absolutely.
about. I got this alert about they want to do gender neutral pronouns in the local school system. No. Okay, that's my thing. No, this gender neutral nonsense has to
Yeah,
stop. That has to stop.
it's a
Okay.
full stop.
Yeah,
It's
full
making
stop.
people crazy.
So you need to educate yourself about all these issues. Connect locally and at the state level and at the federal level. I don't need to, you don't have to spend your entire life on it, but you need to be aware. You need to be aware because these are things that
Yeah.
may not just affect you, but they may affect others. They may affect your neighbors, and especially they may affect your family that comes after you. Okay, that's my whole thing. If you can't, you need to do that for the very sake of keeping of staying aware. All right. Now, looks like we temporarily lost Alex. So let me just jump in here for a second. First of all, hi to everybody in the chat. I'm glad you're here. Glad that you're spending some time with us. And you know,
Computer
making this
thing.
a fun,
We just
making this a fun
developing my
event.
reputation as the most glitchy live stream on the internet.
Baby,
Maybe
you
it'll
went glitchy
make me
big
go
time.
viral.
Bitch, baby, you went glitchy big time.
As soon as I get Manny back, we'll continue
I'm
that
here.
topic.
I'm here.
Um,
Is I here?
I'm just assuming that everybody can still hear, and
Roger that.
let's see, I can't say what I'm thinking.
Are we?
A lot of us, unfortunately, can't say what we're thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm here. You
I
can
got
you
another
see me?
article pulled up as soon as I can get Manny back in here.
Oh no, I'm here.
Warhorse, for those who are not sure who I'm talking about.
Am I?
You're
You
not
got
a
me?
man or a woman. You're an it. Prove me wrong. That's
Attaboy,
a
Fred.
good comment.
Attaboy, Fred.
Oh, he is there. Okay, so I'm the only one that can't see him. So,
Right, I'm here.
can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes. Yes.
Okay. So,
Hang on a second. Oh, okay. More glitchies. Okay, I love the techno stuff.
man,
Here we go. But look, folks. I love you all as patriots. I consider you my brothers and sisters. Okay, educate yourself, people. Okay, don't be so distracted by the toys that you lose perspective. All right, you lose perspective. We all have things we got to do, especially raising kids. Raising kids to me is the most important thing you could ever do, and do well. All right, that's where your focus needs to be. But a lot of these things will affect them, like this whole thing about social justice and all this gender neutral nonsense. Okay, you have to do what you have to do to protect your family. Okay, it's that simple. Just keep working to be aware of what's happening, be it especially the local school board. Well, I don't have time for that. Yes, you do. You've got to make the effort. Go down to your community, to your county government every once in a while. They have to put up their agenda every time they have a meeting. They have to put up their agenda. Okay, whether it's road construction or anything else, you have to be aware of what's going on. All right.
I'm
Hey,
back.
yay, you're back.
Did you miss me?
Yes, I did. I did.
Well, you got to get better aim then.
Man, well, I tried. But anyway,
Right.
but no, I was just yakking. I was just flapping my yap with the folks.
Hey,
But
I'm glad you did.
yeah,
Yeah, I've always said it, and I'll keep saying it. Computers are evil, and as soon as we all can understand that, then life will be so much easier to deal with.
Oh yeah, without question. But no, I was just pointing out to our fellow patriots that you have to educate yourself on all levels, but especially the school boards, because it may not affect your kids directly immediately, especially if they graduated. But what if you stay in the area, then come along your grandkids or somebody else's kids or something like that? You got to think about these things.
Right. It's going
You
to
know,
affect some generation that you're associated with.
absolutely.
But we look like we got about 15 minutes left. I want to get another. I think I got 4 more headlines in here, but if we don't get to all of them, that's fine. The back and forth is good anyway. This one
Absolutely.
here says DHS bars Democrat-led panel's staffers from border facility. The Department of Homeland Security has barred Democrat staffers from the House Oversight Committee from visiting Customs and Border Protection facilities in the U.S.-Mexico border as part of a planned trip this week after committee staff allegedly were disruptive and refused to follow instructions during their last trip. So, good on them.
I can see. Okay, good on them, but that's a double-edged sword. Okay, that's a double-edged sword because I can see now. Unless I didn't hear you right. If they barred them from this trip, I understand that they're disruptive and they're a pain in the neck. Nobody has to tell me that. Okay, I see it every night on the news and on other feeds. But here's the thing: that can come back and bite them because then the Democrats can turn around, the leftists can turn around and say, well, see, now you're hiding something. Now you're hiding something. Now you don't want us to go. And
that's what they're already doing.
Oh, absolutely.
They've already started that trip. But I think the way around that is to have people from Customs and Border Protection actually do their own video podcast, as it were, from the facilities without filters and without the slant that's put on it by the media and stuff like that. If they did their own podcast as individuals, it'd be really hard to argue that.
Right. See,
High Roller joined us and Rye Girl. So, hey, good to see you both.
Hey, Rye Girl.
Wow, that was scary.
That's her. I know. Hey, this is just for Rye Girl. Everybody look away. This is just for Rye Girl. Hey, I'm doing this. Anyway.
Bloating up like a stepped on toad.
That's like that. So, but yeah, my advice to DHS would just be careful about that. That's just handle it right. Do your podcast. But yeah, I can understand them banning them. It's like banning 5-year-olds from going on a field trip. That's just
right.
That's just me.
Well, they had them when their last visit came up. They had them literally almost doing a sit-in. They were told they had 40 minutes per facility, and they were going to get that 40 minutes, and then they would move on to the next place. Meanwhile, they had staffers from the CBP that were in the other facilities waiting on them to come when they could be out patrolling or doing whatever they were going to do. And then they ultimately didn't show up because they were running long. So they're disrupting the daily operations of the CBP, and they're, you can't just go and decide you're going to do a sit-in when, there's a structure and these people have to do things a certain way. Go to a military base and try to pull that stuff. They won't play I really need you to leave. They'll pick you up and they'll set you out on the other side of the gate. And that's just the way it's going to be. Yep.
By the way, I want to say hi to High Roller and everybody. Listen, if I missed you in the chat, I apologize, but I want to say hi again to everybody in the chat who sent me a shout out. I appreciate it.
Me too.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm sending you a shout out. Hi.
Yay! Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Right. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, so that one we don't really need to get much further into. I'm pretty much the heading took care of it. But this one will be interesting here. It says James Comey. You guys may have heard of him. Not vindicated, not a victim, and not a hero. The FBI Director James Comey spent the morning spiking the proverbial football over a newly released Inspector General report, concluding that while he did not violate the law by exposing classified material, bullshit, sorry, he did engage in professional misconduct and non-permitted leaking. Comey, who oozes sneering self-righteousness, is brazenly claiming vindication while lashing out at his critics. Sadly, this sort of seemingly unprofessionalism is not unexpected at this point.
First of all, we started out with, here we go. Okay. First of all, this is James Comey we're talking about. Okay, where do I begin? this was, James Comey. Yep. Wow. The guy thought. Well, you start first. I'm just. I.
I know it's
Comey
just
has me.
flabbergasting.
It is. It's like what? What? Okay. I know this isn't nice to say, but whatever he's smoking, he needs to get off of it. Okay, because that's just that's too much. Because
I agree. But here's my stand on it. I have a morbid fear that we are going to see a continuing charade of laws being broken, and whether they call them rules or laws. If you leak classified information, that's against the law. That's very plain to
oh,
see, easily
absolutely.
looked up. And if you're in the military and you leak classified, you're history.
Your
So
next
for
stop is
them to say,
Leavenworth.
"Oh,
Your next stop
right,"
is
and it will
Leavenworth.
not be it won't be for a short time. So for
No,
them to say, "Oh, he didn't break laws by leaking classified information," already that's incorrect. And I
absolutely.
see,
The
yeah,
man.
I don't see people being prosecuted for breaking the law. I see them being reprimanded. Oh, bad,
Oh, bad
bad.
boy. No,
You
the
know,
man
that's what I
leaked.
see.
The man leaked classified information. Okay, period. What part? Okay, okay. I'm going to show you this. This is one of my favorite things. Okay, where is it? Where is it? There it is. It says it says I can explain it to you. I can't understand it for you. Okay, it's one of my
Yeah, I
favorite
just saw
sayings.
that a few days ago. That one
Okay,
is, I like that.
what part? What part? Okay, what part of leaking classified information do people not understand? Okay, that's like that's like when people that's what like when people complain about the illegal immigration. Well, they're human beings, yes, but what part of breaking the law do you not understand? Okay, it's
Well,
that
it's the
simple.
second tier of that law.
Hmm.
There's the lower tier that's for us, but then there's that second tier, and that's where it wasn't a law, but in the bottom tier, it is a law.
Right.
So until I can figure out that confusion, I don't have a good answer.
No, but there isn't one. Breaking the law is breaking the law. Okay? The man leaked classified information. You're correct. When you were in and I was in, let me try that business. Both of us would end up in Leavenworth. All right? Classified is classified. And there's a reason why it's classified. All right? You may not agree with the reason, but if it's classified, you don't leak it. And if you leak it, you get prosecuted. Simple as that.
Well, here's a good question for you. When did presidential conversation become non-classified? The if you and me, if you are the president, I'm sitting here talking to you in your office. When we walk and separate, I leave the office. Everything that you said to me, even hey, I had a good sandwich today at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's executive privilege, classified, unless the president himself declares that information to be declassified.
Correct. By the way, Rygirl, that was for you. Okay. That's
Oh, my
anyway.
eyes.
My eyes. Okay. But look, it's hey, you know what? Classified is classified. You're right. It's executive privilege. Okay. Because things in the White House are instantly classified. That whole place is nothing but one big classification. All right. It's that
Yeah.
simple. And you have to understand that going in. You have to understand that going in. All right. I once applied to a job with Boeing, not just the aircraft company, but they ran our national security satellites and stuff like that. I was applying for an engineering position with Boeing.
Cool.
Inherently, you walked into the place, and this is I'm not kidding. This is what they did. Okay. A lady walked through the office. She was taking me to the interview room. She was walking with one of those orange cones, okay, a little one. saying
Uh-huh.
unclassified, or no, unclassified, which means I was unclassified, and
Right.
no, everybody in the office instantly shut their mouths. Okay, until I left the room. But she had this cone. It was the funniest thing. But she had this orange cone calling me unclassified. Now I've been called a lot of things, but that's a unique one.
Hey, she's telling me I ain't got no class. I don't understand what's going on over
Hey,
here.
hey! I got class. What are you talking about here? You know,
What are you talking about? Get
what
out
are
of
you
here with
talking
that
about? Get
stuff.
out of here.
All right. Well, let me throw one more article in here. I think we're going to make one more. We got looks like 4 minutes left, but this one I
Yeah,
didn't want to let fall away. And it
bring it.
says that here's very basic: eliminating talent by force. In the same book I quoted in an earlier post from Under the Rubble, which you can read online. Anyway, so that's who that is. It's Bill de Blasio is wanting to eliminate special classes for advanced students in his schools. He wants to basically bring the exceptional class back down to the regular class.
Bill
You've
de
got kids that
Blasio.
just yeah.
Bill de Blasio.
So
Okay, another idiot. Where do I start? Where do I start? Look,
Comrade
you
de Blasio,
comrade.
Comrade
Hey,
de
comrade.
Blasio.
Yeah. Look, I could spend an entire afternoon on the idiot, but that's beside the point. So he wants to reduce talented kids to a more basic level. Why? Because he's an idiot. All right. Those kids are going to get bored. They're going to get frustrated. All right. You're not doing any kind of service. You're doing a disservice to these kids. Why? Because we don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to hurt anybody's little feelings. Okay. We want to all get participation trophies. Listen, New York City school system, of which I'm very familiar with because I'm a product of that system. Okay. I call those students and other students like them pass throughs because the teachers just give them enough knowledge to get them to the next level. Basically,
Right.
by the time they graduate, a bunch of them are functionally illiterate. So what you want to do now is you want to reduce everybody to a level playing field. I'm sorry, that's not how the real world works. You are doing a disservice to these kids who have talent, who might actually be creative, could do something wonderful for society because you have this idiotic idea that you want to level the playing field. How stupid
And
is that?
it's
You
like
know?
chopping the legs off the next potential Einstein. And those are some of the people that bring some of the most amazing creations to our humanity. Are the people that
Precisely.
have genius IQs and stuff. You got to
Precisely.
let them blossom.
That's like taking a major league ball player. I'm sorry. This is like I'm a ball player. I've been a ball player all my life. This is like taking a major league ball player and sticking him in C League, okay? And then having to play by their rules. All right? It's stupid. If you have the talent, let the talent flourish. But de Blasio is too big of an idiot to understand that. All right? It's that
Yeah,
simple. It's that simple. I
it's,
wonder.
it's
I'm
crazy.
curious. I'm curious to know how many parents are going to stand for that. I'm curious. You know.
Well, I hear a lot of things like, well, send them to charter school, send them to private school, do all this stuff. But I grew up, you know, with my family. We were very poor.
Mm-hmm.
We were very happy. We had everything we needed to have, but we were poor. There was
Mm-hmm.
no go to other schools. But what I
Mm-hmm.
did do is I tried to teach them as much as I could when they were home and got them ready for what was coming. But some people can't even do that because they've got to work 2 or 3 jobs. You know, it's a real hard subject to get around and to figure out a good solution to.
Here's something. Here's something. What if you have a genius kid in an area in a district where there's only public schools? Okay. Now what do? The family can't afford to send them anywhere. You can argue
Yep.
endowments and grants and stuff like that. Look, the public school system was designed to make kids flourish. How about we try to get back to that? All right. And if those genius kids can't flourish, then programs need to be put in place that make them flourish, that give them the opportunity to flourish. But you know how that's going to run into a problem? Somebody's going to start screaming that's racist or God knows what. So
Yeah.
you're just cutting the legs out from under these kids, and that's doing a terrible disservice to them.
Yeah. The answer is you got to move out of the state. I
Basically.
mean, that's got to be the answer. You got to get out of
Yep.
state, get them somewhere where they can grow. And when I was growing up, if we needed to move for the sake of my kids, then we would have flat out done it. Even if would have had to leave the stuff I had behind, we would have packed up and done what we had to do for our kids. And I
Absolutely.
think that's going to be the ultimate answer for these people.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is our hour. It's incredible
Yes, sir.
how fast an hour goes with you, Manny.
I
I think we
appreciate
could
that.
just talk all night long.
Yes, we could.
I want to take a minute to thank my mods for the wonderful work you guys do, and my visitors for
Yes.
coming to hang out with us for
Yes.
the hour this evening. I'll be doing a water break and filling the coffee cup and getting ready to jump on with Tony here in just a couple
Yes.
minutes.
Tony's my boy.
Manny, I just can't thank you enough for joining me tonight. It's just awesome. It's a pleasure having you on here, and
I
I
am
hope we can
honored.
do this again.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm terribly honored that you invited me. I appreciate everybody in the chat who spent time with us, spent time out of their evening with us. I appreciate each and every one of you.
All right. All right, folks. With that, we're going to have to call it quits, and we could go on all night, but we just can't do it. But anyway,
Yep.
I'll see you guys on Tony's show. And until next time, y'all, stay in the fight.
Absolutely.